We're all here to talk wins for spring 2023, and this is meant to help you win in your ministry, but also with XP3 curriculum. Let's make spring 2023 your best season yet. This is the win. Let's do it. All right, we've got a lot to get to today, but before we get into any of that, I gotta introduce you to somebody very, very special. Some would call him a legend. I would call him the GOAT, greatest of all time. Ladies and gentlemen,
Michael
Stuart
Jordan.
Hall. Is Michael Jordan here?
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing,
right?
but
especially to hear him talk about youth ministry.
That'd be interesting. Well, I call you the GOAT, but why do we call you the GOAT?
This guy has been doing it longer than most of us have been living, and he's just like a walking encyclopedia. We love the guy, right?
You're so sweet. Thank you.
That's good.
And we even got him a goat. We got you a goat.
What?
Well, hold on. We couldn't really afford a goat, so we got you the next best thing, a Chihuahua.
Are we doing a Taco Bell commercial?
That's
Is that what
Bones.
this is? Oh, look.
That's Bones. She's 100 years old, actually.
Easy, Shane.
What?
Easy.
Stuart, we're really glad that you're here.
Dude,
Thanks
I'm
for-
honored to be here. So is Bones. Bones is about ready to be done, so moving right along.
Thanks for being the GOAT, for hanging out with us today. Now, let's keep rolling through this. I'm gonna invite somebody else very special up to the stage. Candace Wynn, one of our Orange specialists. Candace. What's up? How are you?
What's up, Shane? I'm doing good. Doing good.
Good.
You know, one common misconception that we hear as Orange specialists is that XP3 or Orange in general is for large churches, and that's just not true. You know, more than 500 churches that use XP3 have 150 or less attendees.
Wow, that's a lot.
So it's important. It is a lot.
Yes,
So it's important to contextualize our content for your context.
That's good.
Contextualize based on your culture, your language, you know, your students, your church, your region. We have a video from our friend Leslie who talks a little bit about how she contextualizes XP3.
Awesome. Let's check it out.
Hi, my name is Leslie, and I'm a family pastor at a rural multi-site church in Southeast Missouri. We've been using the XP3 curriculum for years. And one of the things I love so much about the curriculum is how it's adapted with us at various phases of ministry, because we're able to contextualize the content to our needs in each different location or size of group. For example, we serve an area as large as 8 or 9 counties in our region, and we have volunteers and students coming from a huge geographic area. So the sizes of our groups and the locations they meet in can really vary. We've met in churches, homes, coffee shops. We even met in a roller skating rink for a while. And at each of those different locations provides different opportunities and different challenges that we have to adapt to. We're a heavily relationships-focused, small groups-based ministry. We don't have a band, we don't have student worship each week, so we don't use any of those resources. But we lean really heavily into the flexibility of the teaching component and into the small group resources.
Leslie, thank you so much for that video. Contextualization is a really big deal, but we have something else for you. Stuart?
Yeah, big deal, Shane. Leslie in Southeast Missouri, right on the edge of the Mark Twain National Forest.
Wow.
In case any of you guys care and have
It's
ever
beautiful.
read Huckleberry
It's
Finn.
beautiful.
We are going to give Leslie a year's supply, not to be confused with a lifetime supply because Corinne will kill me.
Yes.
A year's supply of Peeps. Peeps to go along with your Easter celebration, because what goes better than the resurrection of Jesus than Peeps?
Marshmallow bunnies.
And thank you,
Are
Corinne.
they bunnies or ducks?
Which one are you?
Neither. Hey, that's amazing. And we have some more amazing things to talk about, specifically for those of you that lead middle school. So let me invite our great friend, our Director of Middle School Strategy, Ashley Bohan.
Let's go.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Thanks for hanging out. This is a really big season, right? And I mean, they're all important, but this one, like, we're talking about some stuff, right?
I feel like this is the season that's known as the hardest thing to talk to middle schoolers about, like suicide, sex, identity.
Yeah.
It's heavy, which
I agree.
means it's important that we highlight the things that will help us win when talking about this with
Yeah.
middle schoolers.
Author
And so
of
the
the
first thing I would
best-selling
love
book,
to draw attention
How to Speak to Middle School.
is our think about
Barely can walk because of what you...
Tell us what else. Tell us what else.
It's definitely known as the season that's like the hardest to talk to middle schoolers about these things, sex, suicide, identity, which means I really want to highlight for everyone the things that I think can help us win when talking to middle schoolers about these topics. The first thing is to think about this sections that you will see in the communicator guides, the small group leader guides, the Faith Skills Experience Kit, the worship leader guide.
Important.
It's basically our phase cue. It helps get all of your leaders in the right headspace to lead these conversations with middle schoolers. Like,
yeah, that's great.
It's been a while since we've been in middle school, so to make sure we're thinking like middle schoolers so we can have the best conversation possible. The second thing is to make these topics engaging. We have planned a bunch of interactive pieces for our large group elements.
That's great.
But also in our small group time. And I know
that's awesome.
that it takes a lot of time to prep these kind of things. And it takes a lot of time to prep your volunteers to lead these. So we've created in our optional media package these tutorial videos so you can actually see it being done to decide, would that work with my students? Like when Candace was talking about contextualization. And then you can also use that very tutorial to send out to your small group leaders, get them all on the same page.
That's
so
awesome.
that it can be more than just a question answer time in small group, but it can be a hands-on experience for their students.
Ooh, I would have loved those as youth pastor. That's really
And then we're
great.
talking about suicide in the Let's Talk About, which is a heavy topic. And so we are kind of turning the volume up on discovery learning with middle schoolers. And so we have planned for 10 pauses throughout the message so middle schoolers can process real time in that exact moment when they have the thought, when they have the question, when they have an opinion or a story to share. So there are 10 pauses, which if you've never tried teaching middle schoolers that way, I really think that you're gonna see the conversations get deeper because they're going to remember what to talk about in each section of it, and it's gonna be building. It's fantastic. Make sure you do that. I promise it'll help you win in that conversation. And last but not least, our series called Limited Edition, which is on identity, which what the research is saying is one of the core questions middle schoolers are asking is, who am I in middle school? And so I'm excited to have these conversations, like who am I in terms of like how God created me as a human, and then how God's created me to be different than the person next to me. And that requires a lot of self-awareness, which I know they're still learning and growing in middle school for sure. And so what I love is in the small group time, they have this like little
that's cool
worksheet quiz thing that basically helps highlight like some of their interests, some of their strengths, because sometimes it's easy to know what you're not good at, but it's hard to identify what you are good at. I mean, as an adult too. So don't skip that because I really think middle schoolers need the skills to learn how to identify that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's super cool. That reminds me of my middle school days. We used to do those on MySpace. Do you remember that?
MySpace. You would have been in my top friends, Shane.
And now my grandma does them on Facebook. She always comes back as like Darth Vader or something random like that.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes, I am.
I believe everything everybody tells me.
But what I'm not being sarcastic about is how amazing middle school season is going to be. That is a great idea. All the things that you mentioned are amazing. And I know everybody can't wait to check it out. Thanks so much for sharing ways to win.
So good to be here.
Yeah, you're awesome. See you, Ash. All right, that's middle school, which is going to be an amazing spring season. We also have an incredible spring 23 season for our high school curriculum. And to tell you more about that is Leslie Mack, our high school strategy director. What's up?
Hi, Shane.
You doing all right?
I'm doing okay.
Good. This is fun.
Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, I'm glad you're here too.
Let's talk about spring.
We should. We should.
I think you're the one who told me I had to be here.
Yeah, I did. Shane's actually on our team, so all these things I'm talking about, he actually helped us develop. So he's gonna pretend like he doesn't know, ask me good questions.
Yeah,
and then,
that's true. That's true.
We got to work on a ton of it together, which is fun.
Yeah, it has been really fun, and I'm excited for the season. As Ashley was saying, for high school as well, there's some really big topics. So how can leaders win in spring 23?
Yeah, so I want to try to hit, there's so many wins like throughout the curriculum. I think I only have like 2 minutes. So I'm going to try to hit at least 4 or 5. Okay. So the first one, our Easter series, it's called
Before I Go.
Before I Go. There you go.
Hey, they know. We're on the same team.
They know. Yeah. So it's called Before I Go. It's our Easter series. It's about the 5 things that Jesus said before he left. And we are doing something really non-traditional after the first week. We are doing non-traditional communion. So don't skip the XP this week. I know a lot of times it's easy to like go past that folder if you're a curriculum user, but check out the XP this week. It's going to invite students to like experience communion in a different way, whether they've done it before or not. So that's kind of one of the first ones. Okay, the next one is, this was an interesting season because we had the topic of sex. And I really think we could spend hours talking about how this conversation has evolved generation over generation. And so one of the things I want to point out is that We actually don't use the word purity in this whole conversation. If you want to know more about why that is, because we have some really intentional reasons, I want to encourage you to check out the Rethinking Youth Ministry podcast, episode 49. And it's all about our philosophy around that whole conversation, that idea. And I would advise, listen to it, check it out, to kind of help shape how you talk about this with your students today.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
So some other ones with this series, though.
Yes.
We created a workbook for students to use. And it's called This Is My Workbook. It goes with the title of the talk, which is This Is Our Sex Talk.
Yeah.
We just know that there's a lot of things you have to work out, and it doesn't happen from sitting and listening to someone on a stage, but actually having to write down, how do I define sexual integrity? How does God define sexual integrity? Where are those things aligning or not aligning? So we created a several-page workbook. Win with that by figuring out if you want to print out all 4 weeks of it at once, or if you want to print it out week by week and hand it out, but you'll need to think through some logistics for your context on how to win with that workbook. So use the workbook. It's where the students will do the work and not just listen to a talk.
That's so good.
Yeah. One more. Okay, so we have a series called Elevate that we do every season. It's our series that's a culture topic. And essentially, we are talking about suicide, and we always want to try to position ourselves to have the conversations and learn from the experts so that you don't have to. That's one way we want to really partner with you to help you win with this series. We talked to Dr. Chinwe. We talked to Will Hutcherson, who has an incredible book called Seen, all about mental health. And then we also talked to Kate Fox-Fuller, who's also a licensed therapist as well. So we talked to some experts about how to have these conversations about suicide so we can elevate the conversation and not be scared of the conversation. Those are a couple of wins.
That's so great. There are some really big wins in the season because there's some really big topics. So I'm excited for that, and I look forward to hearing how our high school ministry leaders use the curriculum.
We want to hear all about it.
Yeah, for sure. Leslie, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Shane.
Okay, we also have some combined wins. So maybe you lead middle school specifically, maybe you lead high school specifically, but many of you lead them either combined or you're leading both in different environments. So to tell us a little bit more about some combined wins in middle school and high school, I'd love to invite up Jess Hatmaker. What's up? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. This is a big season.
It's a big season.
I'm excited based on everything
excited.
we've talked about, but I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about winning in combined environments.
I don't know if there's a more important season to give students the opportunity to talk about these things in a faith-specific way than this one. And especially if you're trying to figure out how to do that, especially for middle schoolers. The book, Communicating to Middle Schoolers by Ashley Bohens, is an awesome research. It's available as an audiobook, and it will give you the practical tools and ideas and steps you can take to really personalize and contextualize these topics in a faith-specific way, specific to your middle schoolers this season when it comes to sex and suicide and identity and Easter. So that's how to communicate to middle schoolers. There's another group of people we're talking to this season, and that is parents and your small group leaders, which are two very important groups of people to prep for such big topics this season. So we provided additional resources like preview videos and emails that you can send to your small group leaders and your parents, because I think one of the biggest mistakes that we can make is to not include the parents in these conversations.
Yeah, that's really important, Jess. Both parents and small group leaders, and those resources are created phase specific, and that's why these are the combined wins. Another combined win is that we're both doing an Easter series, both middle school and high school. So if you meet on Easter Sunday, or maybe you do a big Easter celebration in your student ministry, there are phase specific outlines, scripts, all of the different things for Easter and the resurrection, which is so important. And in fact, Easter may make Jesus the GOAT, right?
Oh yeah.
But he's on a different level.
Yeah.
We do have something close though. His name is Stuart Hall. He's on the GOAT cam, and Stuart Hall. Hey, well, that's not Bones. We got you upgraded, man. How do you feel?
You have an actual goat now.
Let us know.
Oh my gosh.
Have a new buddy here.
Yeah.
Speaking of goats, ladies and gentlemen,
So many goats in this episode of The Win.
he kind of hints of vanilla.
Oh. Bones is
Bones is a little upset with you being here. But Jess, while you're up there talking, isn't it interesting that I'm holding a goat? You're sitting beside a goat.
I am.
Who has written a book about how to see God.
How to see the goat.
How to see the goat.
So, I don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point, but I do know this, that we are going to give away, we're not going to give away your book, we're going to give people the opportunity to purchase their book at 10% off.
Okay.
If they go to howtoseegodbook.com. 10% off, and help us celebrate the launch of Shane's book right now.
Hey!
Too much happening.
That's it.
Yeah.
How to See God. We've got a goat right there. We got a couple goats right there. Hey, we're actually not even done though. I'm really excited for the book. I hope you grab one. Stuart, he just said offline he's gonna buy 1,000 copies for the first 1,000 people.
I did not, but for the win is the code for the book.
Yeah.
At the website for 10% off. Ooh, what was that?
Hey, that's a great goat. Jess, you're a goat too. Everybody here is a goat, including the people who are watching right now, which is why we don't want this just to be a win about curriculum and the book and livestock and all of those things. We want this to be a win for you specifically. And in order to do that, we thought the goat could give you a pep talk. So I'm gonna invite the whole crew up here and we're gonna hear from the one and only Stuart Hall as I clean my face.
So before I give the pep talk,
Yes.
Corinne, let's tell the people what they've won.
She's
want to
she's
give
over
away.
there. She's,
I'm over here.
Corinne, I can't see. I'm holding a goat.
I didn't know that caused you to lose vision.
Well, I was looking over this shoulder. I'm sorry. But Corinne, we want to give away 2 Orange Conference 23
Yes, you do.
free passes.
Yep.
How do the people get those?
Yeah, so to be eligible for 2 free Orange Conference 2023 tickets. This is very intimidating. So comment on this video right below here. Leave a reason why you love XP3. Leave your favorite resource or how you use XP3. Really anything XP3 related, and you're entered to win. It's that easy. But
Right.
if you want bonus points,
Bonus points.
who doesn't? Share a picture of a goat on your social channels. Tag Orange students. That's it. Take a screenshot right now of the goat with the goat. Post that, and you never know what might be showing up in your inbox.
Amazing. That's amazing. So Pablo Picasso years ago was meandering through a Spanish village. No one knew who he was, except this one woman noticed him as he was walking around. She was a giant fan. She runs up to Picasso and handing him a piece of paper, she said, "Mr. Picasso, I'm your biggest fan. Would you draw me a picture?" And Picasso, with a smile on his face, takes this piece of paper, and in 30 seconds, he draws her what most would consider a masterpiece. But before he handed her the paper back, he said, "That'll be $1 million." And she looked at him and she said, "But Mr. Picasso, this only took you 30 seconds to draw and it's $1 million?" And he looked at her and said, "It took me 30 years to draw that 30 seconds." I think that is the reality of youth ministry. What you and I do in 4 to 6, 7 years has a 30-year value. And if you're not careful, it'll be easy for you to think what you're investing in, who you're investing in, and what you're doing isn't that valuable, but you have no idea how invaluable it is. Everybody standing in this semicircle is the result of someone who invested in us in a short amount of time, but their investment is invaluable. Remember that as you invest in the next generation, because you really are the GOAT.
Yep, and that's why Stuart Hall's a GOAT. Thanks for investing in all of us. And you all like to win. That's why you watch the win. That's it. Bye. All right, from the top. Do it one more time.
That was a good run through.